live again. We're back at you here. Payback previews 2023. Heel Heat down 1, but we have our guest here. Wrestling with Honey. We have your casual 3-year champ.
Still waiting for my title, bro. So it still has not come in the mail. Like, I'm getting really offended now. My reign is probably longer than Roman's. I'm just being nice with the 3 years.
It was shipped.
Title. It
was shipped by Temu. That's the problem there. You know what I'm saying?
That's probably what it is. They probably got my information, probably hacking my accounts and everything. This is ridiculous.
It went to your previous address. That's what happened.
Which one?
Exactly. And I'm your host, Paulinho. We're here. I don't know if y'all saw SmackDown, but man, let's get started. That new Jimmy entrance song.
Ooh. The smoke.
Honey, can't hear you.
Can't hear you, bro. No. You out here pantomiming. Nope.
I can't hear the words coming out of your mic.
Don't nobody understand the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Nope.
You can never have a podcast without experiencing technical difficulties. I swear.
Oh. How about them Yankees?
I don't think we talk about the Yankees anymore. Nope. No idea. I don't.
Can you hear us though? All right, she can hear us.
I don't know what's going on. I can see you. Everything's fine.
Yeah. You're gonna walk the dog with Matt? What happened? Everything was fine before. I have no idea what happened.
She gave her headphone to Matt, and Matt disappeared.
Yeah, it's just like put in the case. The AirPods. Yeah.
No. So I don't know.
I know what she said there. Probably leave and then come back in and see what happens there. Yeah. Damn. It's not a way to start the show, but we'll get her notes when she comes back in regards to the entrance of Jimmy. But when I saw it and I heard piano, I was like, who is this? Like, I don't like top of head. I was like, piano. I was like going through, and then I look at the Titantron and I'm seeing the colors. I see Jimmy. I was like, yo, they're dropping a new one for him. I was like, damn. And then you hear it play out.
I heard the piano, and immediately I thought it was Ilya.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Dragunov. And I'm like, they're calling up Dragunov to go up against Cena. Okay, not how I would have done it, but I don't hate it. And then I heard the trap beat, and I'm like, oh. And then I saw the Titantron, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I seen the way he walked out, and I'm like, okay, so he's still a heel. All right. It's not like, okay. But I was just curious. I'm like, coming out to interrupt John? Like, is this setting up for a match tomorrow? Like, I would have definitely preferred if that's what it turned into. It turned into a match instead of just like setting up the AJ solo match from yesterday. Like, that was such a random. It's like that segment led to the solo and Jimmy segment that then led to the AJ and Jimmy segment that then led to the AJ and solo. It's just like, huh? There was a lot going on just to get to AJ and solo.
Hello.
Okay, there she goes.
We can hear you now.
There you go.
I was gonna say, why is this always happening to me? Like, why? I just want to talk about wrestling.
I was literally waiting.
Like, can I just live my life and talk about wrestling? That's all I want to fucking do.
I thought you were gonna hit us with the Firefly thing. and then just see like, I'm like, wait, what is going on? I thought she was gonna come back with like a bean mask and everything. I'm like, what are we doing?
Instead, I hit you with the Mrs. Doubtfire. Hello. Hello. Alrighty. All right.
We were talking about the Jimmy entrance.
Yeah, the Jimmy entrance. Before I was so muted and interrupted. No,
Jay was concerned it was Dragunov.
I thought it was Dragunov when I heard the pianos, and I'm like, okay.
Oh no.
I was like, okay, Dragunov and Cena.
Dragunov is not gonna.
That's what I'm like. It didn't make a lot of sense. I'm like, who's got the pianos?
Yeah, but I feel like that's something that stems off of Roman's.
The
theme song, because he has pianos in his shit too. But I love it for Jimmy. I also think, like I said before we were talking amongst ourselves, but it's a great way to differentiate the Usos as individual competitors as opposed to just the same old theme song. But I really do hope that they just keep Jay with the day one. That's just what I want. Just keep Jay with the day one, because that theme song should not go away. That is a really good theme song too. I listened to that on the way to work.
You and me both.
I think Jay should get a new one. Like we were saying off camera, Jay should get a new one. That way, when he comes back, you have no idea who it is, and then like you see him come out, you're like, oh, he's back.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of timing, because it's like when you hear the Uso, you're gonna get the reaction anyway. It's just a matter of like, do you want the reaction when they see Jay, or do you want the reaction of when they hear the music?
I'd rather have it when you like. There's a great reaction when they hear the music. You know what I mean? But when you have, like, say when AJ came, right? When AJ came, you had no idea who it was until you saw Phenomenal. But then and it was another pop.
Mm-hmm.
When you have no idea who the song belongs to, you're like, who is this? But then when you see who it belongs to, that pop is either on the same level when that person hits, or it's better.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play devil's advocate for both, because it was the same thing with Cody. Like, once you heard the wrestling only has more than one royal family, there was the pop, and then
once you heard that, because everybody knows that voice,
right. But,
so okay, you got that, and then you saw him, and then there was another pop. So like, it could work both ways.
Yeah, but it depends on the wrestler and the type of where they're at. Like, look at Ciampa. That man came out to no music for a while, and you felt that heat.
Right.
Like Cody.
And then you had when his new song came out, Blackheart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you can do it. It's just you have to do it. The wrestler has to be at that right peak at the right time to do it with.
Cody just happened to have it at the right moment, because I love watching Cody's return when he first came back and fought Seth at WrestleMania, because I still get chills watching it. If you really listen, before he even touches the ring, Cody at least gets 3 or 4 pops before he even got to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
The first pop was the wrestling has more than one. Like, everybody heard his voice. It was like, holy shit. Next was when the music started playing and you see the logos. Then the third main pop was when he started coming up. That's the one that gives me goosebumps. When he came up and he just looked like a straight out fucking The Boys Homelander superhero, like Nemesis, like he was the hero version of Homelander. Like he's coming to, like, oh my god, it's still one of the greatest. Still one of the greatest.
It was literally like it was the on your left moment for
fans. Yeah.
And that's the thing. But with Jay, I think Jay right now arguably is the biggest babyface on SmackDown. Like, arguably, the fact that they're like, the fact that they're still talking about Jay when Jay's not been on TV, and you hear the chants as frequently as you do.
Yeah.
I think that there's an argument to be made, because there aren't a lot of baby faces on SmackDown per se. Like, SmackDown's more of a heel show. And it's like the biggest baby faces on SmackDown right now are probably what?
Jey Uso, Sami Zayn.
Sammy and Kevin. Like, you don't have that real star babyface, and I think that's what they're trying to do with Jimmy, with Jay, which is why I think they're trying. This is why I think they should keep the song.
Yeah, and I'm starting to wonder now if having him take his "I'm leaving WWE" is also a way to keep Roman away, because keeping Roman there, you're expecting him to feud with Jay, but at this point, because both are off, it's on ice.
Yeah,
until I guess Roman comes back healthy, and then they'll bring Jay back before then.
And you can build the tension between Jimmy and Solo. Because at the end of the day, like out of all of
that's already started.
Yeah, like, but that's the thing. The problem with that is that is Jimmy bloodline or not? Solo's pretty much saying blood in, blood out. Like, you're not leaving until we tell you that you're leaving.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, they're both still heels, so the feud also still doesn't make sense. So it's like
that's true.
So it's like you throw an AJ Styles in there, and it's like, cool. You give Solo the rub, but you also don't have a lot of baby faces here. So it's like you gotta figure that out, because like you can't keep Jay away for that long, because there is no babyface foil in this feud right now.
Yeah, but I feel like maybe I mean, just looking at what happened last night, because Paul Heyman stopped Solo from spiking and everything, and he was just like, no, don't do it. So are they going to try to keep these guys together and then keep Jay as the main baby face? Like, is the whole goal here just to bring up Jay Uso as the new face of the company in the future, like the baby face that they're at, like a Cena level, a big dog Roman Reigns level? You know what I mean?
If you're gonna do that, then it comes the complication of, well, if he's gonna be that guy, you have to have him win big, and it can't. And it's like, do you trust him to be a world champion? Because if you hop it on Cody, now the Cody momentum is kind of gonna die down, because there's gonna be split between who should actually take the title off Roman.
Well, that's what I tried to tell you before.
I was with you. I didn't
remember last year. Everybody was like, "Cody's gonna do it. Cody's gonna do it. Cody's gotta do it." No, not yet, man. Because then to build up exactly what you just said.
But my biggest argument was, is this whole thing could still exist without Roman having the titles.
Yeah.
Like, Cody could still have the titles and be doing something completely different and being the champion on this show. And the Roman story, the bloodline thing could still be happening.
100%.
Just as effective.
100%.
My biggest argument was, you needed to take down the big boss.
Oh,
yes, this whole, like, having him break all these records, it's fantastic. It's great. But most of his reign is going to be seen as like, okay, but he was never here. Like, we didn't see him that much.
I'll say this.
I mean, come on, you're gonna say that? Like, they said the same thing about Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was the definition
still hate
of
all
that.
of Brock Lesnar's reigns. Like, I still hate him. I still
I'll say it's for Cody. The best way to finish that story is for him to win it at the Garden, the same place where his dad.
Well, that's not gonna happen.
It can happen.
It will.
It can happen. You can put one of the pay-per-views at the Garden.
Here's
the thing is, it might not be one of the big ones though.
That's what I'm saying. If it's not Mania, then it doesn't matter. If it's not Mania, it doesn't matter, because now you've already set the precedent for it being a Mania level main event. Doing it anywhere else, even if it is in the Garden, doing it anywhere else is only going to satisfy a third of the fan base. And that's not what you want. Well, it's going to be largely dissatisfying for most.
It has to be poetic justice. It has to be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's that story in the background, because his dad won the match in the Garden, but because it was, I think, a count out or disqualification. I think it was a count out. He didn't win the title. He had a picture with him with the title, but he had to give it back. So that's like his push. So yes, I don't disagree with you. Mania is the top. That's the Super Bowl. That's where you wanted to pay off. But the story ends with him winning. But the cherry on top is, hey, Dad, I won the belt the same place you were supposed to win it.
Yeah.
And I won it.
But that's the thing. I'm talking about the meat and potatoes of the story. You're talking about the garnish. You have to finish it when you said you were going to finish it. If he loses again at WrestleMania, his whole luster, everything is gone. It's gone.
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't disagree with you on that one.
And the fact that they're doing it in Philly, it's like, well, we got to do it in Philly, I guess. Like, I get what you're saying. Yeah. But, like, if this was actually planned the right way, then they should have had WrestleMania at the Garden.
They're probably going to do the story with the hard times. Hard times, Tony Somali. Hard times.
Unless, like, the only way I could see that being a thing is if, like, say, for example, at WrestleMania, and I would hate this so much, if Cody wins by countout. Cody wins, but it's by countout, and the rematch is at the Garden. Where he finally does. Like, that's the only way that you can do it. That is literally the only way you can do it.
Yeah. But
I honestly think it's hard to. I think it's hard to speculate on that and how that's going to end. I'm going to leave that to WWE and see where they're going to go, because I'm sure they're not even sure where they're going to go just yet. If
they do that, SummerSlam has to be at the Garden, because that has to be on one of the main pay-per-views.
It does, and that's where they're kind of screwed. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's where they're kind of screwing themselves.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
Was it? It's Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series,
and Rumble.
And Royal Rumble. So it's not going to happen at the Rumble. And if it's like what you say, Jay, it's not going to happen at Mania. The next one up is SummerSlam. Survivor Series is too far out to have it pay off.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, who's to say? I don't know. SummerSlam in the Garden. You mean like to have SummerSlam in the Garden for Cody to relive?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, like I said, there's no they screwed it up so much with him not winning that there's no way to
because you can't tell because if he has the rematch at Backlash and say Backlash is at the Garden, it's great, but again, Backlash is not one of the main four, so you might not have a big sold out crowd because it's not one of the main four.
I don't know, man. I think
because apparently Backlash is the now the pay-per-view after Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
There's no easy answer to it. Like there's no easy answer to this.
There isn't, and I honestly, personally think that Cody's time got cut short. Like I feel like they knew exactly what they were going to do with him the year he came back until he got injured.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that kind of like threw the monkey wrench in their whole program. But I feel like what they're doing is just resetting it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's also with different superstars, because there's other superstars that are not around now that were around a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? Like 2019 was only 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But still, there was it's a different roster just in those few years. You know, it's crazy. But we digress. We got to talk about Payback, because Cody got his hands full tonight.
Let's get this started.
I love how we spent 20 minutes talking about a theme song into the giant elephant in the room when it comes to like WWE in general.
All right, let's start it off with the tag team match.
Okay, that is
because there's.
I definitely didn't think you would start there, but okay.
Because it's a lot of stuff there. Because remember, Rhea said, if y'all don't come back with titles, we're gonna have a conversation about this. And like Free said, he's like, I could get a title. Well, can't see me. I could get a title. He's got that Money in the Bank briefcase. But Finn's only shot is at tag team.
You know what it is for me? I can't take these titles seriously until they give me new titles. And I'm going to be the person just harp on it. They look like Crayola championships. They look like the stuff you give to kids. I can't take these titles seriously because they're barely ever defended. And when they're defending against makeshift tag teams because there is no legit tag division. And then they look like children's titles.
Yet.
Give me real titles and then we can talk.
Yes. But yet. There will be a tag team division. I feel like a tag team division will be coming in our future. What's that noise?
I thought that was you.
No,
That's not me.
that's my house.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
Oh, he finally got one.
I'm like, who's somebody crushing up over there?
Yep.
Don't throw it over there. It ain't open.
So I will say that I do have something to say about Damian Priest and that little
Go ahead.
moment where he for a second where he was like, I could get a title.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that.
Mm-mm.
I didn't like that. I thought that was so classless, and I think that's going to be one of many reasons why he's going to get kicked out.
Don't throw it. It ain't open.
Here's my thing: is I don't agree with you because I think that it fits in with the heel faction.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dominic, classless. Rhea, classless. I think you have to understand too, the newest member of the faction is Finn. Like, he's the guy that came along for the ride. Those, more or less, those two with Rhea and Priest are like the original two. Like, they're not going to kick Damian out. But I also think that they're setting up Finn to fall back into another faction. Like, he's going to have, him and JD's going to have their own thing going on. That's what I think is going to happen. Or I think at the last second, JD's going to turn on Finn, and that's how JD gets into the Judgment Day.
Okay, now I'm with you. Now you got my attention, because this, going back to August 9th, where I wrote my Payback predictions, I wrote here with a star next to it. I put Judgment Day betrays Finn. Like, I put different scenarios. I put either betrays Finn or Finn betrays. Either way, JD McDonough is the key player.
Yes, I think that has a lot to do with it, because a lot of these last couple of weeks has been JD trying to prove himself, and yes. I think at the last second he realizes that after this loss, like, I think somehow JD tries to help them win, and that's how it keeps happening somehow, that Sammy and Kevin win. But I think at the end of the day, when Finn's like going off and they're chirping at each other and all this other stuff, that situation is gonna happen. Like, I think Sammy and Kevin's gonna win, but the blow up is gonna be later.
Yeah, the blow up is going to be within the Judgment Day, and I feel like strongly, it could just be Finn getting kicked out and JD becoming a new part of them. That, honestly, I don't feel like JD and Finn is going to be a team. That, no, I don't feel.
I think
I could see some long-term storytelling in where we all, if you remember, when Finn went back to NXT and him and JD had a really banger match. I forgot what fucking event it was for, but they fought against each other for a little bit, and we all knew that was like his little mini me protege kind of thing, blah blah blah. Finn won and he beat him. This could have been like a long-term journey of revenge, and I don't know if anybody remembers that early vignette that came out of JD where it was like all black, and he was talking about going back to his old ways and remembering who he really was and becoming his true self, and that he's coming to take over, blah, blah, blah. Who's to say he ain't coming to take over the Judgment Day? He's just getting through the ways of Finn, and they're going to give us a swerve where he turns on Finn. And
again, I think the swerve happens in a different match, but I think the seeds of the swerve happen here, where I think JD inadvertently, along with Finn, cost them the match.
Yes.
So that's my prediction right now, is that it's Sammy and Kevin that's going to win, but that it's going to be due to Judgment Day interfighting shenanigans.
I will disagree.
Of course you do.
In the part where I don't want to get too far, but all right. So Owens and Zayn win it, and Benny says the same thing. Owens and Zayn win to retain, because Benny says Rhea said changes might need to happen if they don't win some titles. You can't dangle that carrot and not pay it off, which I agree. Which I have said for a while. Finn Balor will be kicked out of that faction soon. It's too many problems. All three of them, Rhea, Dom, and Priest, got matching tattoos for Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
Finn didn't get it. Well, we know why Finn didn't get it. Finn doesn't has. I don't think he has any tattoos at all on his body.
No,
he does.
He does.
Oh, he does.
He does on his arms.
I don't remember that one, but all right.
His wrist.
But
They're new.
Yeah, but he didn't get it. So it's small, but storyline. There's other things where like if you remember, he's been losing. He hasn't come close. He came close, but he lost. Him and Priest fighting been going on.
Losing the title matches to Seth.
Dom and Rhea will not. I think lean more towards Priest than Finn. At the end of the day, I'll say this: if Finn gets kicked out, he will pair up with JD. I don't think JD is going to join Judgment Day. I don't see that happening. I see more as JD going with Finn as his protege, and then that'll be another storyline completely separate, differently. And then I don't see Judgment Day taking anybody new at the moment. I think the three of them are fine the way they are. Because if you add anybody in there, they have to gel and work with them.
Then why hint that more are joining?
I think they'll say that, but I don't. Finn doesn't mesh well with them. Like when I saw him, JD, I don't think will mesh with them either well at all. Like they have all three of them just have something going on, so it has to be somebody that they can work with that will gel with them. Maybe there's somebody that we don't know of, and that's what I'm thinking. I just can't put a finger on who it might be. For all we know, it could be another female.
I'm saving my bigger prediction for later because it plays into what happens later.
So are we all agreeing that Owens and Zayn are retaining?
Yes.
I do agree that Owens and Zayn are retaining. I just don't know how it's going to end up, but I just have different feelings about how JD and Finn will end up.
I have a feeling it's going to fall back on Finn as why they didn't win. You know what I mean? It has to fall back on Finn.
I think Finn's going to take
I think so. I think somebody. Yeah, I think somebody's going to make a move. Like somebody's going to push or shove or hit or something.
I don't necessarily think Finn's going to take the pin. I mean, Priest could take the pin, but it could be something that Finn did that caused the match. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
So it could be like where Priest went for the tag and Finn was just out of reach, but Priest is blaming Finn or something, or Finn was preoccupied.
I think it'll be a situation where like Finn tries to use the briefcase, misses, and hits Priest, or vice versa.
Yeah, it could be anything, but like I'm saying, it's gonna fall back on Finn somehow, some way,
right?
And that's why he's gonna get kicked out on Monday night. I don't think it's gonna happen tomorrow night. I think it'll be on Monday night because you want that. All right, next up, The Miz versus LA Knight.
This is the easy one for me.
This is too easy.
It's the class. They showed their hand last night.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And this is what I'm upset about because honestly, you can make this into a nice little feud for LA Knight because I'm a big fan of The Miz. The Miz is really good on the mic. My only problem
always has been.
Beyond.
Yeah, my only thing with Miz, like I've said, he's a great dance partner. He's just not a good lead dancer.
I can't even say that for him anymore. I can't say it for him. After what he did for Logan Paul, and after what he's done in the last couple of matches where he's had to be the lead for a lot of different younger dance partners, I can't say that for Miz. Like Miz to me is an all around I'd argue to call him an all-time great at this point.
I don't disagree. Don't disagree with that. I personally call Miz the gift that keeps on giving because he aces it every time. He doesn't he doesn't stumble. He knows how to hit. He knows how to go after the other person's weaknesses, knows exactly how to make them tick, knows exactly what to say, when to say it, knows how to get the crowd going. And he's just perfect at it at this point. And I would not argue that he's an all-time great because he is definitely paved his own way, and rightfully so, especially coming from a reality show when everybody was laughing at him and thought he was stupid. Shout out to Miz. You better do that, Mike.
I'm not putting no disrespect on Miz's name no more.
No.
No, you're not
I won't put disrespect on his name, but I'm unfortunately not going to vote for him tonight.
No.
I was gonna go with LA Knight, but like I said, I want this feud to go longer. It cannot go longer if LA Knight wins.
I don't think it needs to go longer.
Personally. And we lost wrestling.
I don't know.
There she goes.
I don't think this feud needs to go any longer than what it is.
No, me neither.
Again, the formula is clear. We've said this a million times. Whenever you question the trope, you're wrong. Mm-hmm. Who stood tall last night? Miz. And then they gave LA Knight a little bit of sprinkle to make you doubt it, and then they did the pull apart thing. Right. Miz stood tall last night. We all know if you stand tall on the go home show, you're losing.
You're losing.
We all know. It's happened, Paul. It's happened way too many times.
Matt and I literally said that right as soon as he won. Like right as soon as I was like, well, okay.
Like we know what's going on tomorrow.
We already know. This is gonna be easy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, everybody picked LA Knight, and I was torn. I'm like, I have a feeling like just to keep him.
He's just too hot right now.
Man. I know, but don't even say it's just to keep him busy because after this, where is he gonna go?
What show is
I feel like right now this is everybody. I feel like everybody right now, like these next couple of weeks of LA Knight and all these little rubs he's getting from these veterans, because let's call him as a veteran. He's been there 10 plus. He's been doing this. I feel like this is everybody just saying like, hey, I want to get my hands on this guy. I want to work with this guy. Like he's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that
they want to get to know away from the U.S. title for a reason. Like they're gonna let the U.S. title thing kind of blow over. Let the Austin Theory thing blow over. See what they have with that, and then they're gonna put LA Knight, because they literally, this is just taking LA Knight away from that title for a hot little second. Let them figure that whole thing out. Figure out what they're gonna do with Austin Theory mainly. Let that thing play out, and then right after that, because of the fact that again, LA Knight really should have been champion. We know this, but they want to do the whole, because LWO's numbers were doing so well, they wanted to kind of ride that wagon. But what happened as soon as that announcement came out? That's what people don't realize. As soon as the announcement came out that Santos Escobar was getting the rub, not discounting that he's a great wrestler or whatever, but because LWO's numbers were doing so well, LA Knight's numbers skyrocketed in terms of match. He's the highest seller for the month of August. People are like, oh, if that's what we got to do to get the title on LA Knight, cool. Hell, I'd never buy wrestling merchandise. I bought an LA Knight shirt. That's how much I believe in LA Knight. I never in my 31 years of life have bought wrestling merch for myself. I bought that shirt. That's who I'm riding with to the wheels come off. And I think that was what people were saying. Like, yo, no, we're not going to use that as an excuse. Santos is cool. We love Ray. That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
We're over this. Like, hate to say it, but like LWO was kind of like the flavor of the summer, and it was cool. But like going forward, like we're hitching to that guy, because at the end of the day, the second biggest babyface, if we're being really honest, on SmackDown is LA Knight. It's Jay, and then it's LA Knight.
That's true.
Like you can only. The only way you can tamper that groundswell to be like, well, he should have the title, the main title, is to give him the mid-card title. You have to, and it's like, again, when the whole Santos Ray thing and Ray won the title, we already knew Ray was not going to have a long reign.
I didn't understand why that happened the way it did.
I don't know either.
What happened in that match that made him stop the match? I still don't understand.
I don't know.
What the whole qualifying tournament for the title, for the U.S. title and everything, and it was going to be Santos and Rey Mysterio. They fought, but then the match.
I think it was a concussion thing, because he got whipped. I think it was a concussion thing.
That's so crazy to me, because I feel like that kind of made it fuck it up a little bit for them. Like it fucked up the momentum for LWO, and it also fucked up because it also they could have created a really good storyline out of that. They could have. If the way I would have written it, I would have turned Escobar heel that night. Back to the way he used to be. Bring back the legado. and do some heel shit, because now you got everybody on your side. You had Backlash, you had Puerto Rico, you had Bad Bunny, you guys were face. Bring them back to who you really were. Like, bring it back to the NXT you real quick, and then you have your faction and make them relevant a little bit more. Make them on the level of like Gunther and Imperium, to where he has the title and they have the tag belts and shit like that. You know what I mean? But they, I don't know.
I just, again, and I think a lot of that is because it's like with I forgot what other faction it was where they wanted to flip, when they wanted to, like with Sheamus and Pete Dunne, when they wanted to flip Pete Dunne back to Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
Sheamus was the one that was like, nah, we're not done with the storyline yet, which to me I think is a little selfish, but
just a little bit.
I think
it's
a
little bit.
I think Escobar,
because now look.
Yeah, now they're doing nothing. Now your man is in a tournament at NXT, so like make it make sense. Anyway, and they still won't call this man Pete Dunne for whatever reason. I don't know what the issue is, but
I don't know.
I say all that to say, like, I think the whole Rey Mysterio thing is short-lived, and I think the reason why this feud for LA Knight is going to be short is because, like, they're keeping him out of the U.S. title picture until they can just throw him back in and put the title on him, which is what people want anyway, which will make the merch sales and the U.S. title sales and all that stuff go up. But they had to make sure that LA Knight wasn't just the flavor of the month, and Legado had sustained success in terms of merchandise.
Yeah.
You know, so like
they're fine.
We're gonna put it on the guys that we trust for right now, and kind of rock out with them and see if the LA Knight thing is real. But now that it's showing that it's real, I think they're gonna put the title on LA Knight.
Yeah, Benny said regarding to our conversation with Cody, he said unfortunately not gonna happen. The only big fight that takes place in an arena is Survivor Series.
Also true.
Yeah.
All right, Benny has LA Knight, and he said, "Why the fuck would the Miz win this?"
Basically,
I mean, there's the very obvious answer of like
basically.
Yeah.
Like if the Miz wins this, it's like, all right, why? Because then you
like
have
I said,
Miz
it's
beat LA
only,
Knight after LA Knight has beaten people consistently. Like,
yeah,
no
it's
problem.
like I said, it's only just to keep him entertained in a feud, just tangle him in. That's the only reason I see it. And he doesn't have to pin him. It could be by DQ. The Miz could be DQ'd.
It could be. It definitely could be.
To continue
if
the feud.
In a certain way, I could see how the Miz would win.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. My biggest thing is like the Miz is one of those guys now where you can just throw him in something big and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Imagine, because Miz is on Raw, imagine immediately inserting him into quote unquote Judgment Day business come that world title match.
Who, Miz?
Yeah. And it makes it, because again, it's not what you would, well, wait a minute. Like, who's to say, to me anyway, who's to say that Miz does not deserve a world heavyweight championship title run?
He does. Absolutely.
He does.
Yo, listen.
It's one of those situations where it's like they shafted him before. When he should have put the title on him, they shafted him. So
Miz,
like,
yo, you know when Miz was supposed to win that belt again? I know exactly, and I remember when, because I remember
when
the
he dropped
segment. I remember who it was when he dropped the Intercontinental title, and it was Daniel Bryan. I believe it was just before he became the freaking Planet's champion, Daniel Bryan, and AJ Styles, and Miz was going off about them main eventing for a title shot, and he goes, I don't care if you win, I don't care if you win, I got next. And he never got that due. Give the Miz his title shot, make it at WrestleMania, make it the main event, give it to him.
At least night one.
I would be happy.
Give me night one.
I would be happy for the Miz. I'd be like, yo, like somebody who came from, you know, our grounds and then made it through and made it up and broke the mold and became something and got the American dream and got, you know, became
and it's
like oh my god.
What's crazy to me is that like he's a heel. He's a heel, but like I can't help but root for the Miz as a babyface because it's like, nah, bro, like y'all really did this man dirty and he's been putting in the work. Like everybody talks about Seth, everybody talks about all the people that were great during the pandemic, but like Miz has been great before the pandemic, during the pandemic, after the pandemic, building talent, being a locker room leader. Like everything that we praise everybody else for, we give Miz no credit for it. I'm like, bro,
you want to, yeah.
When are we gonna have that conversation? Where like, bro,
you want to talk about you want to talk about Mello don't miss.
Miz does not miss, bro.
I think. Like, did you guys see the episode of Evil for the Miz?
No.
You gotta watch it.
When they talk about like their heel personas, yes.
Yeah, and everything. So they go like a little backstory for the characters, and it did it for the Miz. And the thing is, I think he said it, or it was said, it was like the difference with the Miz is he didn't do it like everybody else. His way in was different through like reality TV, and the way the Miz character came about was crazy as well.
Yeah, and
the whole thing with the chicken in the bag was completely blown out of proportion. Like he says, like I was just eating chicken close to a bag, and crabs just happened to fall. But what happened is, you know how it works. One here, one here, one here. Next thing you know is apparently I was eating over the bag and just dropping the scraps of chicken in the bag. It's not what happened. I got to talk to, and we know the story for that. I think that is the issue with the Miz, not just with people in the locker room, but with the fans. Is his story is completely different the way he came into wrestling. When he came in, they saw him as a mouthpiece. He was a host of SmackDown. That's all he was, and he was like, "This is my chance. I got a mic. I'm taking it."
I remember that.
So he's just running with it.
And he dressed with the jeans, those baggy jeans with the chain hanging on it.
Yeah. And then he's like, and then they were saying, like, Dolph even said, like, he just knows how to push your buttons. And that's what, and he's like, yes, I'll do it, whatever. He's like, when he had the fedora hat, remember?
Yes. Oh my God, annoying. Yeah. Looking like the boy band.
Here's the thing. He was like, I wore it around the locker room, just playing around. Nobody liked it. Oh, you guys don't like it? They're not going to like it. So you know what? I'm wearing it. And he came out with it. And nobody liked it. But that's the whole thing with him. He's like, if you don't like it, I'm doing my job. I'm pushing you. And that's what he does. And that's why he's one of my favorite ones. It's like, he just knows how to annoy you. And that's why he's so good at being a heel.
But I think that to me is exactly the
so
reason
special
why he should be in the conversation to be, if not the next one, because I don't think he's going to be the next one, the guy after this upcoming guy to be world heavyweight champion. And I think personally, he should be the guy that's champion when Seth Rollins eventually comes back from injury.
Yes, that would be good.
You know what? I'd rather see him take it off of Seth. No. Because of the fact that you can have him run with that title. You know
I get you, but this is the Cody J thing all over again. This is literally the Cody J thing all over again. That's great, and your point is not wrong, but let's stop ignoring what's already built there. Like, don't blow up what's built there because, hey, this guy is reliable. No, you built essentially the next star, not star. You built the next guy. He's there. It's they're gifting it to you. Don't blow it off because, hey, the Miz is Mr. Reliable. That's my biggest thing. Is I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. Yeah. I'm saying don't blow the load on he should beat the Miz. I mean, he should beat Seth Rollins. We know who should beat Seth Rollins. We already know who it is. Let him be the next guy.
Yeah. Oh, and the one thing took off of that episode was apparently there is real beef between Daniel Bryan and the Miz. Like, they really don't like each other.
Knew that. That was too real.
I was like, wait, what?
That was too real, bro. Like, it felt
that segment on when they used to do Smack Talk with Renee Young and everything, and he went off on that. That's one of my favorite Miz moments of all time.
But they were talking about that, and the Miz was like, I felt he's like when he called him a coward. Miz was like, I felt he said it it's like a different, like he's like, I couldn't tell if he was blurring the lines or how much was it. And then when they asked his wife, they were like, was that the Miz or was that Mike? And she was like, I think that was Mike talking.
That was Mike. No, that was Mike.
He went off.
And what I didn't realize
the fact that the man, like, you seen the tears in his eyes.
Yes, I was gonna say that.
That was personal. That wasn't forget the work, forget any of that. Whoever was producing that just said, "Oh, this shit is real. zoom in on his.
He said put that camera
the
right.
camera
He's like, okay, I got you, dude. I got
Roll
you,
with
bam.
This what we doing?
Yeah.
Hey. We just make sure you
Renee
get this.
Young didn't know what to do. Like I
There
remember
wasn't nothing
watching
anybody
that
could say
shit,
because
and
that
I was
was
glued. I was like,
Yeah.
But notice when you get those real moments,
I thought he
is
was
when
really
you make
about to hit
superstars.
Daniel Bryan
Because
too.
think about, I thought he was too. It's one of those. The Miz to me became a bona fide star at that point. It's the same thing when
he was, but he escalated.
Yeah, it's like when Becky broke her nose and she had that moment with the SmackDown thing and she was bleeding.
She became
That's when
Stone
Becky
Cold.
became a star.
Yep.
When you seen like Sasha and Bianca at WrestleMania and they both started breaking down, that's when Bianca became a star for me. You get what I'm saying? Like everybody has those moments where like, oh no, now they're a star. Now they're there. They're here.
Yeah.
But again, that's why I said Miz can lose this feud. It doesn't matter. To me, the bigger picture with Miz is like, can we stop acting like he's a lower mid-card act and just be like, bro, let him build LA Knight. We get it. But push him to where he needs to be, which is the main event.
He's the A-lister.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is like, if we're going to keep going with that A-lister thing, like put the brand on him.
Make him the fucking face. Make him the face.
And then on top of that, then that to me, that sets up the rematch between him and LA Knight down the road.
Yeah.
That sets
for
up
a title shot. Like
that sets up LA Knight being a world champion, and you don't have to put the WWE title on it. You don't need to do it at that point. And it's like, would it be great? Cool. But you can put the world heavyweight title on him, and everyone's cool with it.
I'll be 100%. I'll be fine with that. Totally fine. What's funny is that
we 40 minutes in on the second match.
Yeah.
So reel it back in.
Sorry guys.
Reel it back
in. We just get into so much.
You know what it is, guys? I will say to whoever's watching out there, it's only because it's felt like the longest couple of weeks, and it's been a while. I feel like we just missed each other and had a lot to say. Like we haven't talked much.
There's so much, but the thing is, like I've been a big Miz fan for years because I felt he never got the flowers that he deserved.
I always
he's like the only 2-time grand champion.
Yeah, only 2 times the Grand Slam champion. Yeah,
and that's the thing. People don't give him the flowers for that. Like, come on,
no, they don't.
That's not an easy tag.
Stop playing. Like, stop playing with the Miz name.
Like,
I used to be one of those people.
Bro. Like,
I used to be one of those people that hated him before,
Indonesia.
But I was like, I hate him. The reason why I hate him, hey, what's up from Indonesia? I was like, why do I like it's not that I hate him for real. It's just that he makes me hate him, and he's good at doing it. Mm-hmm. That's why I hate him, because he's good at making me hate him. It's like John Cena, he's good at making everybody like him. I hate it too.
Yeah, I hate that though. Like I
hate it. Good, but I was smiling when he came on the screen yesterday. Yeah. So I was just like, oh, fuck you, Cena. Love you too. Whatever. Bye.
We're back. All right. Next up, Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory.
Wait, we all did say LA Knight, right? We all did say LA Knight.
I said the Miz.
Yeah.
I said the Miz.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. We're not paying attention to that, Paul. We know you just want to say it.
We all said LA Knight. We all said LA Knight.
Anyway. We're trying to save you a pick.
I wrote it in here as the Miz, just so y'all know. All right. So Benny says Theory's run was crap, and I think it's too early to turn Escobar. What I want is Escobar and Rey 1v1
I'm no
face versus face, with Escobar winning and Rey passing him the torch like that. But I can't have my way there, can I? And Jay froze.
No, Jay, come back.
Hello, Jay.
Oh my God. He got knocked off.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Okay, right. But I don't agree with Benny. I do agree that they should have had it as Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio, but but I would see, like I said before, Santos going heel instead of doing all of that.
Yeah,
I didn't see the passing the torch. I felt like they already did that. They already did the pass of the torch thing, kind of.
Yeah, but it was like cheesy though, because it was just like, here's my mask, here you go. Like, it's like, come on, bro.
Mask. Cherish this mask.
Yeah, like I didn't feel like the mask handoff was a passing of the torch. I just felt like it was like, hey, bro, I see you, but that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a full like, all right, you are next. You know, I think it's weird. I don't know why they did that. I'd rather have had them do that with Dominic than with Santos.
That was kind of the point because you got to think about it. Who's the face of Lucha Libre? It's Rey Mysterio.
Right. Yeah.
So in doing that, he's saying that no, you're the face of the style now. So like you're the luchador. Dominic is not a luchador, and that's what I think. That's the biggest thing that has come out of his run from Judgment Day. Mm-hmm. He's not his father. His style is not gonna work. Rey Mysterio's style is not gonna work for Dominic Mysterio.
No,
you can see shades and pieces, but Dominic's closer in style to what Eddie was.
His real father.
I know that was a setup, but that's why him giving the mask to Dominic would have never made sense, because Dominic with a mask at this point is just, it doesn't make sense. It's stupid.
Well, that's why I'm glad they got rid of that already when they did at SummerSlam or WrestleMania, whenever it was, when he came out of the fucking, when
he ripped the mask,
paddy wagon, and he had the mask up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I when I was looking at that transition of the mask, it's more of like, hey, son, I'm gonna retire. Here's my mask. You don't have to wear it, but it's more of, I'm passing this, like what is in our family.
The Mysterio legacy is you now. Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest thing. Is I think the best thing they could have done is for Dominic to say, I don't want your legacy. I don't
But I don't want it. I get it, but he's like, but he'll go like, look, you write your own.
Full savage.
Like he has to tell him he has to write his own.
Yeah,
he does his own.
But what I'm saying is the impact of him doing that would not have been the same.
Right.
Because everyone would have been waiting for him to put on the mask.
What I'm saying though is
that Dominic did it his own way and he's doing it his own way.
Yeah.
Eventually, when he does do the babyface turn.
Yeah, but
Ray is long gone.
The mask is more.
Ray come back.
The mask is more like a just a physical entity from father to son. That's what it is.
Hit that. But that's the thing. The fact that he didn't do it is what makes this story even better. It's the fact that it's not that, father passing on his legacy to his son. It's his son.
I don't need that. I don't need your legacy.
I don't need your legacy. I don't need, you wasn't there.
I'm gonna make my own legacy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be me. And it's like, we don't know.
That's storytelling, because it's legit. Like, they're playing it out that way, even though I'm sure behind the curtain they're hugging and kissing and proud like a motherfucker.
And,
like, are you kidding? I'm sure it had to be hard a little bit, to pretend to pretend to hate your father at his own Hall of Fame induction. That had to be pretty mentally hard.
That was where I'm like, you should have just not had this happen at all. I think it would have been better for him to just not show up and to just leave the chair empty. Because
you can see the hurt.
You only get inducted into the Hall of Fame one time, and they can't redo that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't redo it. And I know that was terrible for Dominic, and I know
you can tell, like, you can see the hurt in his eyes. He's trying to say Stone Cold, but you can see, and him walking was one of those where it was planned, but it was needed.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he could have held it in too long, because he had to stay in character and continue that storyline. And I was like, I'm watching, I'm like, bro, that shit must be hard.
But any money bet he was the first person in the back of that curtain once Ray went back there. I bet, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just stuff that they don't tell you, or not.
Yeah, they turn the cameras off
for the sake of storyline and all of that.
Yeah, they turn the cameras off, make sure nobody can see that one.
I will say, before we move on to the next one, I'm not gonna lie, I really like this setup. I feel like Molly Karen Rose.
Well, I will say my pick is definitely Rey Mysterio, because like Austin Theory, to me, he still needs so much more character work. But I think the only way he's gonna get it is if you force him to kind of the way you did Randy into the main event scene. Like
who's he fighting again?
Austin Theory and Rey Mysterio.
Austin Theory and Rey. So like you have to close the chapter. Like, either put him in the tag division or make him a main event guy and force him to find that thing. Because what he has now is cool, but it's not enough. He needs more. If anything, he just needs more trauma. Like, I don't know what he is.
that A-Town Down, all that is just
it's too campy. It's too campy. It's too. I hate to say it. It's too Gen Z.
I just don't get it. I don't know if it's me or what, but I just don't get it. Like, the problem is that he's a good wrestler.
Yeah, he's a fantastic wrestler.
Yeah, he's not like just somebody trying to push out his throat.
You know what's wild to me is them putting him with Grayson Waller may be the best thing that can happen for both of those guys. Because Austin Theory, wrestling-wise, is what you need Grayson Waller to be. And Grayson Waller, personality-wise, is what you need Austin
Theory to be. So and maybe make them a tag team.
But I mean, too, it's like Randy and Edge almost. Like those two guys are clearly the next two guys. Like in terms of generationally, like those two guys are clearly the next two guys.
Yeah, like, they've been touched. They've been touched by some greats already.
Right. So like they're letting us know, like, no, these are the two guys, but they have to figure out who's 1A and 1B.
Right. Yeah. Which one's Rock? So, which one's Stone Cold?
Yeah, like which one's Stone Cold? Which one's The Rock? Which one's Triple H?
Which one's Hunter? Which one's Shawn? Which one's Kane? Which one's Taker?
Yeah, right. And I think the best thing they can do for Austin Theory is to put them in a tag team, so that when we have the eventual blow off, that's their biggest feud, and then that's who determines who's up next. Yeah. Now you have time to tell that story for those two guys.
So Ray all the way?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I say Ray all the way too. I just don't see myself voting for Austin Theory at all, period. So
yeah, because the way I look at it, why take the belt off of Theory just to put it back on him?
Just to put it back on, yeah, that makes no sense either.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's going to be more build up between him and Santos. I feel like there's still something there where there's an opportunity where they could turn Santos Escobar back to his way from NXT and go heel again.
Yeah. All right,
but
next one.
Who knows?
Steel cage match. Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch. Benny said, where is it? Becky.
Benny, I thought his vote would have been Samantha.
No. Becky, time to end this feud.
I concur. Wholeheartedly. I concur.
Me too. Hell, Trish has never been in a Hell in a Cell.
Not even
she
that.
Has nothing to prove.
Trish was like, yeah, no, this was cool, but this is going on too long, and there's other people I want to work with. Cool. I also think, too, there's a shot that Trish wins because of the rumor floating around that God damn. That
you saw that?
Becky's gonna go down to NXT and work with Tiffany Stratton. I don't know if she can do that off a win, though. Well, think about it. Becky never won the NXT title. She never won the NXT women's title. And the women's division, as good as it is still so young and raw, and the veteran in the locker room is Dana Brooke. They need that super, like, Rhea was cool to, like, pop it in and out, but they need that sustainable, like, hey, I'm going to take you guys under my wing. This is how we're really, like, I was a part of that first revolution. Like, let me help you guys make the next one. They need that person.
And it's not bad, especially if Seth goes
out. It's
not
bad at all. Like, to me, even though you have Tiffany Stratton and she's kind of like your Mandy Rose-esque type of person, she reminds me way too much of Mandy Rose to not make the comparison.
Nobody will ever be Mandy Rose.
I understand the saltiness. I get it. But let's keep it real. She does remind you of Mandy Rose a lot, especially blonde Mandy in the first run. But I think in order to really make her, you have to give her someone real. And they haven't done that. Like, it's a bunch of like the junior varsity girls going up against each other, and they're making each other better, and that's great. But you need a heavy hitter to be like, yo, we have to legitimize. Because again, the last champion before her was Indy Hartwell, who never lost the title. So it's one of those situations where it's like you have to. The NXT Women's Division needs a legitimate feud to really put the stamp on it to be like, no, this division is the best division in women's wrestling right now. And I think Becky and Stratton can do that. But does that mean that Becky loses this to go down to NXT and be like, I need to recalibrate type situation? The problem is there's nothing else to do with Trish after this. That's why I'm going with Becky. Because at least I know what's next for Becky. I don't know what's next.
Why? Well, why not do it the opposite way? Why not bring Trish down instead of Becky?
Because let's keep it real. Trish is not the level of wrestler that Becky is, nor is she the level of teacher that Becky is.
That's true.
Trish, we have to remember this. Like,
I would have
Trish and Lita.
Becky.
Well, not Lita, but Trish. Like, they didn't receive the type of training like Becky and them did. No. Lita did. Lita did receive some training. I know that.
She did also Lucha too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She did receive some training, but I don't think Trish received that same type of intensity of training. That's why like a lot of the women back then, they were good and they were more like, hey, we're pretty. Just all right, just do these simple moves and we'll be all right. I don't think Trish can go there, but it's more for like teaching, not the wrestling aspect of it, but more on the other side, the mic work and stuff like that. But that's probably it.
So, Becky all around.
I think it's a Becky sweep.
Yeah, I think so too.
Becky sweep, LA Knight sweep, Rey Mysterio sweep. This is good, guys.
No, it wasn't LA Knight sweep. Well, it was, but it wasn't.
Yes, it was LA Knight sweep.
No, it was Zayn sweep.
Always a Zayn sweep. Always a Zayn sweep.
All right, next one. Rhea Ripley defends against Raquel Rodriguez. Benny said, Raquel cannot win this title until she gets a character beyond. They need to start allowing her to beat ass like she did in NXT.
Here's my thing.
Raquel's not ready.
I know everyone's saying this, but hear me out. Imagine a world where the only person or people with titles at the end of the night are Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest. After Rhea made that declaration, just let your mind wander for a little bit. The main person that made the ultimatum, that set the ultimatum, is the person who loses. Or I'd even go a step further. What if Rhea is the only one without a title at the end of the night?
Yeah.
Swerve.
Like if you're gonna do a swerve here, because again, Owens and Zayn losing the titles are very inconsequential. It truly does not matter. Hate to say it, doesn't matter.
Yeah. It could be a way to split them again.
Yeah.
They're always fighting. Think about it.
Yeah. And they'll fight forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
They'll probably retire each other.
That's why I hate it when they say this is the last fight they'll fight. I'm like, no, it will not be. Stop lying.
Stop liars. Lying. Don't lie. How dare you?
That would be interesting. That'd be a swerve and a half if at the beginning of the night, Priest and Finn win. And then Rhea's like, okay, we got all the belts, whatever. And she just thinks it's a walk in the park, whatever. Yeah. And then she's like, okay, I might lose this belt. Oh, crap. And then, like Jay says, she does lose the belt. What is she going to do?
Yeah, does that mean that the changes are Rhea? And then again, because Dominic's gonna go with her regardless. So does Rhea get kicked out of the game?
And then they go full blown Eddie Guerrero and China on us.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
And then, like I said, I gave away my prediction for the end of the night. At that point, then what is Judgment Day without Rhea and Dom?
That is true.
There really isn't a Judgment Day. No. So I hate
How
to say
long has the Judgment Day been going for now? This is the second, third year? Second or third?
Year, maybe. I want to say second, third year, maybe.
Yeah, but it's when they're finally actually getting a push, because for a while they were just
and that's the hard part of when do you call it quits? Because it's Rhea, we already know, is a superstar. It's the question is Dominic a superstar, or is he just getting heat for the moment because of the Rey Mysterio thing?
Well, I think
Priest a legitimate superstar.
They're building Dom, but Dom is still in build the bear mode. I'm telling you.
The main question is Damian Priest a superstar?
Yes. He is. Absolutely.
Again, it's a situation where we had a chance to figure out with the NXT title. They didn't put it on him. They called him up.
The way they were, but the way they were running him before, like when they had that Damien and the priest, like with that good and bad type shit, like that was all stupid. I didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Once they brought him onto the Judgment Day, he became all over, like reinvented and
right
relevant again.
And I don't disagree with you, but my question for that really is, it's like, if for example, say, you know, Damien and Finn win, Rhea loses, and then, you know, Damien cashes in, they have almost all the titles, but Rhea lost. What is Rhea? So it's like, I don't think the decision is this black and white. Like, oh no, it's Rhea. I think that there's a little bit of like, I didn't hear it. I wasn't even gonna say nothing. We gonna ignore that.
Sorry, I'm trying to get my order for lunch. My bad, yeah.
There's a little bit of that, like, well, what if? Because Rhea losing to Raquel this is the first time to me Rhea's faced someone where it's feasible.
Yeah, where it's possible that she could lose.
For her to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
and she's been very confident, like overconfident, a little cocky, a little cockier than the fellas.
Right.
You know, taking control of shit and
like
getting distracted by the guy's drama.
Yeah, like she's been the de facto leader.
You might have a point there, sir.
So it's like, no, what? Maybe I got to get rid of y'all to get me back.
Because once she goes by herself again, it's over.
I don't know, man. I think they might, if they do split them up. I think, like you were saying, Jay, Rhea and Dom might just go by their own and do that. Eddie and China, like, you know, thing. Because it works for them. It works for them. It's not exactly the same, but the way they do it is good.
But that's my thing. I'm not saying that's not going to happen. I'm saying that there's different ways to do it. There's not one way to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that this is an interesting way to at least have a discussion to do it. Is you have her lose because she's the one that's dictating, and if she's the one that can't get it done, then, you know, that kind of kills her credibility with the Judgment Day. And it's like, she's the one that's been intolerable. She's the one that's been trying to keep the peace. But because of that, now she's the one that lost her title.
Yeah.
So does it turn into a situation where it's like, now the guys turn on her?
Oh no.
With that said, I'll go with Rhea. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if from a storyline standpoint, they're like, hey, wait a minute. Let's take the title off for Rhea and see what happens.
It would give her character some depth.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've never seen Rhea in this Rhea, Judgment Day Rhea, in a losing sense.
Right.
What would she look like after she lost? How crazy would she go? Like, she'd probably just beat all the bitches up in the locker room and just brutalize everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she could do that too. But I don't know, man. It's really hard to know what to expect from this
and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you look at it at first glance, it's like, oh no, of course, because Raquel doesn't really have much going for her right now. So of course Rhea would win. But the more I thought about it, the more I'm like,
who's to say she gonna win though?
Yeah, like, who's to say they can't build Raquel's character when she had the title? Who's to say like Raquel can't win the title and then completely go berserk and start beating up people in the locker room?
Yeah, the pay-per-view's called Payback, y'all.
Right. It's like, who's to say that? Not to mention, with Raquel having the title, now you set up a situation where once Liv Morgan comes back, there's a little bit of animosity. Like, she's going for Raquel, but Liv also wants to be champion.
Right.
This is why they gotta have mid-tier titles, man. Damn.
And that's what I'm saying. This is why, like, having the tag titles gone sets up a really interesting situation because it's a consolation prize.
Yeah.
You know, there's the women's title and that's it. And everybody's jockeying for position. So it's a situation where it's like, you know, people do crazy things when they're trying to compete. When you have to compete for everything, people do crazy things. So it's like, you know, it's a situation where it's not black and white at all. It's not black and white. I'm gonna go with Rhea, but it's not black and white.
And it could go either way, honestly. Damn. Like if you really look at it. Like if you really, really look at it.
Yeah. There's a lot that can happen. It could be interesting to see what they do. That swerve, though, if they do that swerve.
If they do that swerve, I want my check, bro.
Monday night would be good to watch.
I want that check from the writers, for real. I need my money.
Yeah. So we're all in agreement on Rhea as well?
Rhea. Mommy all day. I love mommy. I do love mommy.
All right.
I love her.
I just love that that we have characters that were like Hispanic female centric. Like you have the mommy thing and then you had China. Neither one of them are Hispanic. Like they're the furthest thing from
Hispanic. They really are.
It's hilarious to me.
They really are. The only thing that was relevant was the Papi thing, and Eddie Guerrero was Hispanic. So
it was like,
oh, I meant to say this too because I completely forgot. Going back a little bit to Becky and Trish really quick. I don't know why I wrote this down, but for some reason this was in my mind. And this might sound stupid or far-fetched, but what do you guys think of it? So I thought that, I don't know why, but since remember, Jay, you said there's not much else to do with Trish after this, right?
Right.
There could be only one thing left to do with her, and that maybe she can manage. Maybe she could just manage and be a mouthpiece for a heel tag team. For some reason, I don't know why, but I thought, even though they had them face each other a couple weeks ago, I feel like Zoe and Shayna would be like a really good pairing.
It could work.
I thought at first in these upcoming weeks, if a lot of certain if the wrestling world has been a little nuts the last couple of weeks, but I feel like if the storylines were kept going with everything, for some reason I felt like Zoe and Shayna could have possibly teamed and swerved on Becky. All masterminded by Trish just to get one over on Becky.
My only counter argument to that would be like Shayna just got out of a tag team.
That's true.
So it's like, are we gonna throw Shayna into another tag team?
That's true. But I don't know why I thought of that. But I had that.
No, like it's valid.
It's a good idea.
It's not a bad idea. The timing just sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she didn't just lose with Ronda and everything like that.
Then like, okay.
They knowingly made her solo. Like, obviously we know Shayna's going solo. She's not going to be teaming up with anybody else. But if they were to, I could kind of see Zoe, because right now I just feel like Zoe. I'm not feeling Zoe. Not really.
And the thing too is that would be a good tag team because their styles are different.
And they sound the same.
They do. They do.
Yeah. But I can see them making it work though.
I could definitely see it.
Yeah. All right. Last one of the night.
To throw that in there on the early one. Yeah.
No worries. Benny said. All right. So Benny says Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Benny said Rollins. Until I see a Japanese star treated right, I'm gonna assume they're gonna be treated like shit. See next message.
That's a valid point.
A cash in.
What does the next?
Rollins versus Priest, and he has Priest winning. This way, all of Judgment Day walk out of Payback with titles except Balor, and are forced to act on what Rhea says. Plus, give me World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest now. I've been wanting it for a while.
So. Okay, so this plays into what I was trying to allude to earlier. I believe that the swerve if they're gonna have JD join Judgment Day, this is the swerve that I think is going to happen. If Priest and Balor lose, I could see Balor being so jealous of Priest that after the match where Seth is so beaten down and broken, because they're gonna work the back in this match. So that Seth is going to barely be able to stand and move. We know at that point the cash-in's going to come from Priest.
Razor's edge.
But what if Balor comes out and tries to stop Priest during the match and have him fail the cash-in, and JD is who steps in and takes out Balor and Seth and allows for Damian Priest to win the World Heavyweight title, solidifying his loyalty and replacing himself as the successor to Balor, leaving Balor out there by himself. That is how I think it's going to happen. So you keep the foursome, but you allow for like Balor to completely snap. You allow for him to attack Priest, to attack Dom. Hell, you can have him bullet kick Rhea for all I care. I don't know what that was either. We're going to ignore it. We're going to ignore it. But then you have JD come in and attack Balor and take Balor out, and then take out Rollins and allow for Priest to win, and having Priest being like, all right, you're good with me. And that's how JD gets into Judgment Day. And
that's how JD gets into JD?
Yes, essentially. Mm-hmm. But then also, you in turn now have the immediate next opponent for Priest.
Balor.
And you keep Balor in the main event scene, but then you allow for someone else like The Miz, like Austin Theory. Like you allow for all these players to come in, because now everybody's like, nah, bro, you already had a bunch of title shots. Like Finn, nah, get to the back of the line. And then you have it where now with Priest as champion, because he can work both big and little without having to worry about injury, now you have the infinite possibility of him facing just about any opponent in the company while being this heel champion, while still having Judgment Day at his back.
I have another one for you here.
Of course you do.
We'll go with everything.
You can never
except
I have a couple of things for
you
this.
can never disagree with me.
No. I like it. But this
never have my moment. Bro.
Wait. I like it, but this is where I change your story into my own. Nobody stops Damian Priest. He cashes it in. Boom. We go to Monday Night Raw. Rhea's like, okay, I got a belt. Dom's got a belt. Priest has a belt. Finn, you don't have a belt. Because you and Priest failed the tag team titles, we're bringing JD. You and JD go for the belts tonight. Hence, they try to go for the belts. They lose again. Now, that's when they're like, you know what, Finn, that's it. You've had a shot at title against Rollins so many times. You've had 2 shots for the tag team titles with different partners, 2 nights back-to-back, and you still couldn't win it. The issue is not Priest. The issue wasn't JD. The issue is you. Bye. And that's how JD comes in, but that's also how they kick him out with them trying to win it. Now the pressure's on JD to get one of the mid-card titles. That's the only thing I would change to how you had it.
I get what you're saying, but I feel like that's a little too diplomatic, and it doesn't fit with Judgment Day being diplomatic.
Well, the thing is that when they kick him out, they're not going to be diplomatic about it. It was like they're just like, oh, you're the failure. They're gonna beat him up and kick him out, pretty much. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Stomp him out and bye.
I still think it's too neat. That's my biggest thing. It's just too neat. Like it has to be, because of, like, if you look at the history of Judgment Day and you look at how things have kind of gone with them, especially like how they replaced Edge, it was dirty, it was nasty, it was vile. Mm-hmm. That's why I like my suggestion, because it keeps to that vein of like Judgment Day at its core is, if you don't uphold our standard, you get stomped out.
Right.
And I think Finn, because Finn has been in so many damn factions at this point, and he's been the leader of so many damn factions, he's just kind of sick of it. So to have him then flip on Priest is like, you know what? I'm tired of people telling me what to do. I'm the veteran here. I'm the one that got screwed. I'm the one that keeps getting screwed out. Like, if I'm going to get screwed, you're going to get screwed. And then JD takes the opportunity, is like, well, I'm going to go with the winning team.
Yeah. I just don't see JD fitting with Judgment Day. That's my opinion.
Do exactly what Valor's been doing. Like, verbatim. You don't have to change anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they're the same character.
Yeah.
He's his fucking twin, practically.
And I didn't see Finn fitting in with that. I just thought he was a.
But here's the thing. It's because Finn Balor is Finn Balor. JD's not Finn Balor. So he fits in more seamlessly because he's a lower level henchman. Like, he comes in, he's essentially lower than Dom.
He looks like lower Farquaad.
Yeah. But I mean, Versus when Finn came in, like it's like, oh, this is gonna be another one. This is gonna be another version of the Bullet Club, where what's his face is in control, and then that's the thing. But Balor and Priest, it's who's the guy who's earned it, who's been here the longest, versus the guy who has the equity in wrestling. With JD, you don't have that dynamic. Priest at that point is the clear leader. Well, Priest and Rhea really is the clear leader with Dom and JD at their heels. Like it fixes the dynamic while not changing the dynamic all that much.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, you don't look at JD and be like, that's a world champion.
Nah.
You don't. You look at Finn Balor and it's like, that's still a world champion to me.
He's main card material.
Like he's still going to be like, you can still put Finn Balor in any main title feud and he's going to
any
look like
single one. Any single one. He'll make him and he'll make them look like $1 million and he'll look like a veteran every time.
I can't say the same thing about JD. Is JD a fantastic wrestler? Yeah, but he doesn't have the sports equity that Finn Balor does. Like he doesn't have the name. So that's why I'm looking at it from the standpoint of like, how is JD going to make his bones? Taking out the biggest guy on the block. And when you see the opening, you help the big guy so that you're in. And even though Rhea doesn't like him, you can do the whole Rhea still not liking him thing.
Kind of like Sammy and Jimmy.
Yeah, like you can still do that.
Or Sammy and Jay, whatever.
But in doing that, also now you have your quote unquote bloodline for Monday Night Raw. Because at the same time, you take out Seth, but you now put this monster story faction at the forefront of Monday Night Raw. And then you can do what you did with the bloodline and have the entire show center around all of these characters and all these moving pieces. That's why I think, honestly, doing it the dirty way and doing it all in one and leaving that cliffhanger and then leaving it Monday night for like JD to explain. Then you have Priest being like, you know what, you help me, you're good with me. And then you can have Balor come out and be like, screw you guys, blah, 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 blah. And in a lot of ways, it turns Balor babyface. Which is what you need in reality. Because Cody ain't going after that damn title. So somebody's got to go after that title. And then
I know somebody who will.
Who? On Monday?
Let's finish.
Well, then again, you also have like if Balor's then a babyface, then it makes sense. It makes sense for somebody like The Miz to show up. Hell, it makes sense for Logan Paul to show up. As much as I'd hate it, it does make sense. I know, but it does make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it does make sense.
You lost her already. Look at that.
I know. Once I said Logan Paul, but I mean, like, any major heavy hitting heel. I'll do you one better. It makes sense for Braun Breaker to show up. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense for Braun Breaker it makes sense for any one of those guys to show up to then feud with Balor, and it gives Balor, it almost gives Balor that Dolph Ziggler feel where it's like Balor then becomes the gatekeeper to getting to Priest and getting to the Judgment Day, because it's like, no, I still have my issue with them. And you don't have to pay it off. Like, you can stretch it out.
Yeah. Now you can have him, like you said, the gatekeeper, where he might win some, he might lose some, and the ones that he loses is the ones that are actually going to face Priest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can have them, you can have Priest go back to like that. He's still in the Judgment Day, but he goes back to that playboy mentality that he's at, he's at the top of the world the way he was when he was a North American champion.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you can even have it where Rhea starts to hate what Priest
and then they'll Randy Orton him.
Yeah. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm saying that it makes more sense to me.
Because that's the kind of ending I'm waiting for this group.
Right.
I want give me that evolution
the only way to end it, really.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, dramatic as fuck, and beat the shit out of him. Like, actually, I want that.
I would love it to be what you would expect to happen with like a DX, where you have Rhea hit somebody with a low, but you have Rhea hit Priest with a low blow.
Yes.
That's the blow.
Where she looks like she's about to help him but doesn't.
And then she hits him with a low blow and leaves him high and dry. and then you have like she hits him with a low blow. Dominic hits him with like a running like missile drop kick or something like that, and that's how they blow it off, and that's how they leave.
I will say Judgment Day is going to be a big highlight for the night.
Yes,
I will say that.
Yes, and that's how it should be.
But I do not believe there will be a cash in though.
I think you kind of have to.
I'm trying to do it
because that's the only way to write Rollins off. Like that's the only way to justify Rollins losing the title in a way that still makes him look strong. Because I don't see them having Priest cashed in on a heel. That's the thing, is Shinsuke's still in that stratosphere too. So it's like you have Finn, then you have Shinsuke, then you can add other people, so that strengthens the main event scene. But it doesn't make sense for Priest to then, like, for Shinsuke to win and then Priest to cash in on him. It doesn't make sense. Mm-mm. It makes more sense for Rollins to literally get beaten to within an inch of his life, barely scratch and claw to win, and he thinks it's over, and then Priest to come at the end and pick the bones.
It's gonna happen, but it's not gonna happen with Shinsuke. I feel
give this man a break, bro. I'm trying to help Seth. I'm trying to help Seth.
No, there's no. But listen, I know this man needs a break. We had this whole discussion before we even went live. We know this man needs a break, but I'm just saying, for the sake of how their long-term storytelling is going to go as far as what Seth goes and how JD goes. I just feel like there's so much between Seth and Shinsuke that JD on top of it would just be like putting too much. Like it would be too heavy. I mean,
it's overbooking it. It's overbooking it a little bit.
Just a little bit, because it is only the first pay-per-view back after SummerSlam. It is Payback. It's not one of the big four. But Survivor Series is coming up. So things that are going to happen tonight is going to be gearing up for the future of Survivor Series. And I hope we see some cross-branding shit and I also feel like that would be a better reason and a better place to have a cash-in would be in Survivor Series.
I mean, I understand. I definitely understand it. But with the way we've had Survivor Series the last couple of years, like, I don't necessarily, like, I put this is the last pay-per-view storyline-wise until after Survivor Series, because Survivor Series it's like its own little pocket dimension where everyone is beefing about brand warfare and all that other foolishness.
Well, clearly when they moved Shinsuke into this world heavyweight title picture, they made it clear that he's somebody who is definitely possible and capable more than of holding it. Mm-hmm. Which leads me to believe, who's to say that all right, Shinsuke can get the belt, but not yet. There can be a cash-in, but not just yet. Mm-hmm. Because I still feel like there's somebody else waiting in the wings that nobody's even talking about. His name's not even coming up in any kind of conversation, nowhere. And he should have been a main event title picture person from a while ago. There's somebody that has been working his way in the wings through Superstars on the last few SmackDowns. I don't know if anybody's noticed SmackDowns, but he went through Shinsuke like nothing. He went through AJ like nothing. He also went through Rey Mysterio like nothing. I know you guys are probably going to look at me a little funny. Nobody's saying anything about Karrion Kross. I'm just saying the reason why I'm saying that is because what if Seth would be his next target? What if Seth loses by DQ because of cross interference or an interference by something? That has nothing and no relation to have anything to do with JD or Judgment Day cashing in or nothing.
I get it, but I'm also realizing that with certain superstars, the brand split still exists. Not with every superstar, but with certain superstars, the brand split still exists. The reason why Karrion Kross never comes up is because he's on the other brand.
But Shinsuke did. Shinsuke did. He went from SmackDown to Raw out of nowhere.
I didn't know that. It's definitely, again, it's possible, but I don't see it as likely because I don't think they trust Karrion Kross yet. Because Karrion Kross has not connected, good or bad, with the crowd,
and that
that's his problem.
sucks, bro. It sucks because I just feel like if they just do it right and give him the right chance and the right opportunity or the right match and moment with the right person to dance with, he would be set.
I think, to me anyway, that moment, that person is Chad Gable, not the World Heavyweight Championship. I think it's Chad Gable. Because
All right, well then I'm just gonna.
I think you can put the Intercontinental title on him.
Yeah.
And it works.
Well, if all right. To cap off my pick for Shinsuke and Seth, I'm just gonna put Seth.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put Seth retains because of outside interference. I don't know from who, but I feel like there's gonna be some outside interferences or something like that. That's gonna either go at Shinsuke or something with Seth. I don't know why, but I just feel like he's gonna retain for like one more.
Take this with a grain of salt.
What does that say?
It said from one of the I don't remember what BWE stands for right now. My brain's not working because I'm hungry. It says big babyface turn is coming soon with one of WWE's brightest talents. And usually when you start to hear stuff like that, it makes me think that it's one of those guys that's a heel that they think either isn't connecting as a heel or would connect better as a babyface. So that's my thing. It's like there's all this other stuff that comes into play. And who's to say, I hate it, but who's to say that Karrion Kross doesn't turn babyface? Doesn't make sense. But they've done a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
And somehow still works.
So it's like, I get what you're saying with Kross, but I just don't think Kross is like, Kross has the body count to do it, but he also didn't win a lot of those feuds. And that's where I'm looking at it. Like, he hasn't won a lot of his feuds. He doesn't feel important enough yet. That's my biggest thing. Now, if you were to pitch that Kross comes out of nowhere and attacks to assist the Judgment Day in order to join the Judgment Day, now that's a conversation I can have. Because
that's a pretty sick conversation. I didn't even see it going that way.
Because think about what the purpose of Edge said, what the purpose of Judgment Day was to elevate talent. That seems like they're you can still keep the heart of the Judgment Day by doing that.
Could you imagine Kross as the leader of Judgment Day?
He'll wipe everybody out.
I that's the thing. I don't see him as a leader.
Maybe not a leader, but he could be the muscle.
Yes, I could definitely see that because
he's definitely your muscle and your guy to call that says you're Solo Sikoa, like one snap.
Yeah,
boom.
I just don't see him as muscle though.
Quiet muscle though.
Because here's the thing:
muscle.
You almost have to rebrand.
You shouldn't talk.
You have to rebrand Karrion Kross in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because think about it with Damian Priest. We didn't see Damian Priest's muscle for a long time until he was. And then once Edge got kicked out the group, he was forced into a more leadership-heavy role.
Mm-hmm.
But he had time to flesh out that character. He had time to play off other great people.
Right.
So a faction with Scarlett, Rhea, Dom, Karrion Kross, and Damian Priest, that's a faction.
And now you're really taking over not just two brands, three.
And
because you could send his ass to NXT too.
And you're in play for every single title. Because now
I could see Kross going back to NXT also.
But I can also see a situation where you have Rhea and Scarlett win the women's tag title.
Whoa.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm saying you can really You can elevate.
You could have fun with it. You could
you
be
can
adventurous
do a lot with that faction.
You can have Cross and Dominic winning the tag titles.
You can have Cross and that's what I'm saying. And that way you put a title on Cross.
The new Shawn and Diesel.
No. Yeah. Or imagine this one: Cross and Priest as tag team champion.
As tag champion would be dirty.
Ooh.
Disgusting.
And then on top of that, like you make them such a strong faction that even a faction like Imperium almost seems baby-faced.
Yeah.
Because now you put the fear of God in everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a match between Gunther and Cross?
Come on. You know what I'm saying? And this, at the same time, now you have such a huge storyline that, like, you can do this storyline and you can add and move around different pieces for the whole show. And then you can have the Bloodline separate. And you can have the Bloodline Cody thing completely separate.
And that's a good Survivor Series match within itself right there.
And it sets up War Games.
Oh my God! Bring it back! Bring back!
But this is what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm like, you know, the Cross thing you said makes sense, but it makes more sense to me if it's a situation where he sees the power play.
Mm-hmm. See, this is the time of the year where it's like we're moving forward. It's towards the end of the year, and we're about to reset all over again to set up for the next big group of stars, generational superstars in the Royal Rumble and the WrestleMania the next few months. Like, this is the part where it gets confusing because they could throw anything anywhere and it could fuck your head up. Like when they had, you know, Seth. Remember that one time when they had Seth as like a heel and he had AOP behind him, who's still on the roster, by the way.
Yeah,
who's still under the roster, by the way, and have not. Yeah, there's a lot of tag teams that they're trying to reformulate and bring back up again. But when he like attacked Ambrose and Roman and whatever, and he was like their henchman and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Like, it didn't make sense to me at first, but then it's like, no, it does. It can make sense.
AOP's not on the roster.
Yes, they are.
No, yes, they are still.
They are. Yes, they are.
I saw a report that came out today
a report just came out that they've actually.
Yeah.
Remember that in 2022 when Triple H re-signed a bunch of people?
Yeah.
He quietly re-signed AOP.
They were on that list. Yep.
How did we miss that one?
Because they never announced it. They never talked about it.
Because one of them went to like.
And we were going through really tough times.
And one of them went back to MMA.
Oh, did they?
But again, there's a lot of people on the roster that you don't necessarily see. Like, apparently AOP's been signed since 2022.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy. And there's still a lot of people on the roster that are in limbo that they don't know what the fuck to do with.
Right. You still have The Way just sitting there. You have DIY sitting there.
Like, why? Why do we have that sitting there?
I see it. They were re-signed in 2022 before the return of Vince McMahon.
Yeah, before the freeze.
Mm-hmm.
And they were in the internal travel list as of May 2023.
Mm-hmm.
They were keeping them close for some reason.
Like, they're saving them for something.
And it's going to be a big bomb when it happens. Or what if they're Roman's backup? That
would be sick. I was thinking that would be sick. But also, if they're Finn's backup, that would be sick too. If they're Finn's backup, that would be sick too.
Jeez, the surprises, the bomb.
Or they could just throw a monkey wrench away for Seth to get healthy, and Seth can bring them back.
Also, the tag team division is sleep because y'all forgot Jinder Mahal and his boys are running around. I don't know what they're gonna do. Well, I don't know what they're gonna do with them. But I just feel like they're waiting to drop a bomb on them. Like, they're gonna drop.
We ain't forget. We just don't care. We just truly don't care.
They're trying to build them. Like, they're fighting like scrappy guys. Like, you know,
they don't even wrestle anymore. Unless they're on the event. They don't even wrestle no more.
No, they're like, they're on main event because they're not on the main card. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're building them. They're building them together.
Bro, they need to do something more with that main event thing. I'm just saying, like, with the fact that we now have the Heritage Cup, we have the North American title, we have the US title. Can we unretire the European title, please? I'm just saying.
Bring it back.
I'm just saying. And you can have it be the main title defended on main event. Like, you don't even got to put it on TV. No. Just bring it back on main event and do a tournament that way. Because, like, come on, bro. Come on, please. People keep talking about, we have too many titles. No, we don't. We just don't have creative enough minds to fit all the titles in at the same time. We need more titles. There's anything. We need more titles.
So, yeah.
But I'm done. I'm done. Okay, I'm done. I'm officially done. I'm done. Just saying.
Seth is my pick.
Seth is also my pick. But I'm also predicting a cash-in. So I don't know if that counts.
I don't see a cash-in. Not so soon after SummerSlam. We just had it at SummerSlam.
Nah, I see the cash-in.
If we're gonna see a cash-in, it's gonna be a failed one.
No, I don't think they would do.
At that point, it would kill the importance of the Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
But I'm talking for the sake of storyline, a failed cash-in because of Finn or JD or somebody that fucked up for him.
That messes up not only the Money in the Bank, but that also messes up Priest's momentum.
Well, it goes to show him that he shouldn't have been in the group in the first place.
He needed to be in the group in the first place. What are you talking about?
He did. No, he did. No, he definitely did. But I feel like he didn't have long enough in NXT. I feel like NXT. I was loving him in NXT.
I agree with you.
I was loving him in NXT.
There are so many of the talent that I can tell you right now that I feel that way about.
Yeah, there's still so many. They're actually on the roster right now, and I'm just like, fuck, man, not yet.
Should not be on the. They should be on NXT.
Yep.
So here are the laws. So Cena cashed in after 8 days, losing his match. That was in 2012. This goes back to 2005.
That's what this one is.
2012, Cena failed to cash in. 2013, Sandow failed to cash in. 2017, Corbin failed his cash in. 2018, Strowman failed his cash in.
Yes, he did.
Last year, Austin Theory failed his cash in.
Yeah, no, you need somebody. You need to kind of make it make sense.
So how many is that? That's 7 failed cash-ins in the history of Money in the Bank. It's like 7 or 8.
4, 5. But
5 failed cash-ins. How many successful?
Funny thing though, the cash-in failures have been back to back.
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
This is going back from 2005, so it's almost like 20 years.
But there's never been a cash-in from someone who's been in a faction and was caused and stopped because of somebody on their team. That's never happened before.
Where
it's not caught, where the cash-in isn't costed by the other opponent, it's costed by your teammate.
Well, Sandow lost his match on his own. Strowman, I don't remember why he lost his cash-in.
Who was it against? Who was that? Roman?
2018. I don't remember.
God, it feels like so long ago.
Yeah, I don't know, because that makes me wonder now, because if they do it like that, they do fail cash-ins back-to-back years, does that mean that's not a good look for Priest?
I guess it was a good thing to bring up.
So the only way I can see this going now is Priest goes to cash it and he fails it, and then they literally throw it's because of Finn's fault that he fails to cash in.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but here's my thing,
and they kick him out because literally it was money, like
you dropped the ball.
Priest had it right there, and because of Finn, he didn't win it. So
I remember he dangled it. He dangled it. Dangling the carrot.
Here's my problem with that. Then we run into the whole thing of, so now, when do you put the title on Priest? Because Priest is 40. It's not like the man has, it's not like he's a spring chicken.
No, but I mean, LA Knight's not young either, though.
Yeah, but LA Knight has not sniffed the title picture yet.
But here's the other thing. Priest started late in his life wrestling too, so his body's not as worn out.
I get what you're saying, but my thing is, it's how long does one need to be in the proximity of the title before we think of them as a joke. Because Priest has been in the proximity of this title for a hot minute now.
I think after he breaks up with the Judgment Day and he leaves, that people won't take him as a joke anymore.
But that's the thing.
That's a good question, though.
It's one of those situations where why not capitalize on the white hot streak that the Judgment Day is on? Why
That's
wait?
true though, because
if you break,
they're
if
on
you
their
have
evolution
Priest by himself, you now have to build Priest to be by himself, which means now you have to wait another 6 months before it makes sense.
Paul, are you able to see when Judgment Day actually formed? Like what day or like how many years it's been since they did? Hey, that's the thing.
My bad. I was watching TikTok.
I love them talk.
They debuted April. They debuted April 3rd of 2022.
So it's
just
only
last year. It's only been a year. Over a year, going on 2 years.
Yeah, so it's like, do we really want to blow this up? That's
so
what I'm
then
saying.
there's gonna be no cash-ins yet. There's not gonna be that yet because you can't cause no rifts between them yet if you don't want to break them up.
I'm not saying break them up. I'm saying reshuffle the deck.
Well, either way, whatever.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying break up the Judgment Day. I'm saying reshuffle the deck.
Because this is the point of the year where WWE could pull some shit out of their ass and it will shock the shit out of us come Survivor Series because they've done that before. I'll never forget it like it was yesterday. I wasn't watching wrestling at the time anymore, and I was at work. All of a sudden, I see pictures of Sting and Triple H face to face at Survivor Series all over my fucking phone, and I'm like, "What did I miss? Like, why did I miss this? Like, I didn't. Like, that's one regret I have as a wrestling fan that I did not see live. That I'm so pissed because I feel like Survivor Series could be on that level this year.
I just think that this is the first time in a long, long, long time that we've had factions at the level that we had when we all enjoyed wrestling the most. When you had your DX, you had your Nation.
Attitude Era.
You had what?
The Attitude Era.
Yeah, like
the Heart Foundation.
You had the Heart. Like you had all of these factions that
Los Boricuas.
That people cared about. So it's like, to me, it's like you paid it off with the Bloodline. Why is the Bloodline the only faction that gets to pay it off?
And then they created more. You got Imperium, you got LWO, you got Judgment Day.
Why not? But my thing is, why not make the Judgment Day on the same level in a lot of ways as the Bloodline? Why not do that? And why not have it be centered around your atypical top guy wrestler? The 6'5" can go deep voice Undertaker-like wrestler that has so much personality, that has so much persona, has cross-cultural appeal, which is something that they severely lacked for a long time. Like, this is the first time I think I've seen a faction that's not based around, hey, I'm Hispanic, led by Hispanic people.
Yeah. Like,
no one technically in the Judgment Day is white bread American.
Mm-hmm.
Not a soul.
They're technically an international group.
Yeah. So it's and they're cool. Like they're not this.
They're hip. They're young. They're fresh.
Yeah. They've embraced a side of culture that we haven't seen since the Brood, or since I'm spacing. The Undertaker's faction.
The
Ministry of Darkness.
Ministry of Darkness. So it's like, to me, it's like, why ruin that when you can just elevate it by putting the top prize on your quote unquote flagship show on a new guy that built himself from the indies, that has that cross brand appeal, that can talk, that can wrestle, that's big, intimidating, but also super athletic, that can go for matches. Why not have that be the step into the next generation?
Mm-hmm.
That's why, for me, it's like keeping it on Seth now doesn't make a lot of sense when the man is breaking down. Like, you want Seth for another 10 years. You don't want him for another 3 or 4. Because this is exactly the same thing that happened with Rock and Austin. You rolled them so hard that, like, they broke down and they left. You want Seth to be around for the next 10 years. So let that man go get healthy. Like, you don't, I hate to say it, you don't need Seth right now. You really don't. You don't need Seth. So
we
why
don't
not?
need Seth right now, so let him retain. Hurry up and take the belt off Gunther and tell Gunther to win that world heavyweight title.
Still gonna take too long. That's what I'm saying. Now you have a situation where every single match you run the risk of this man doing irreversible damage to his body.
Yeah, it's like Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair when they used to do that little flippy off the corner top rope. I used to get scared. I'm like, dude, stop! Like, stop.
And it's like,
when they showed Seth doing even though he was tributing rest his soul Bray Wyatt, and he did the bend, his back bend shit. I'm like, Seth, take it easy, dog.
Like,
take it easy,
but that's
dog.
what I'm saying.
I understand what you're doing, but take it easy.
Yeah, right now it's two cracked lower vertebrae. Tomorrow, tonight it could be
fractured
a third.
Vertebrae.
Fractured. Tonight could be a third.
At any moment, at any given moment.
We already lost Big E to something in terms of spinal stuff.
And I honestly feel like we're not. I feel like we're not going to see him.
I don't think he's coming back.
It's done. Really it's done. I think he's done. Yeah.
No, he is. The doctor was like, you can't wrestle. Like one hit and boom, that's it. So
that's my thing. It's like you're already losing guys in their upper 30s to injuries like this, and now you have your best guy working through them when you don't need him to do it. Like,
because you have more than enough talent on the roster that you can work with. You could even give him a break the way they give Roman breaks.
Exactly. Let that man get healthy. That's my biggest thing. It's you do it in a way that Seth essentially is justified to disappear. You do it in a way where you don't miss Seth because there's so much going on that it's like, oh yeah, remember?
You forgot he was gone.
Yeah. By that point, it's 7, 8, 9 months down the road.
And the thing they have to remember too is the cash-in match doesn't start until it's fully cashed. So they can literally put Seth through the table, do all this for the back injuries, and then cash it in, and then just give him the razor's edge to call it a night, and boom. And Seth is later, he gets stretched out, and he's gone.
And then now
and let him not come back till WrestleMania.
Depending on the how the back heals and how long it takes.
I would more shoot for a SummerSlam. Like, I think it's gonna take a year.
It will definitely take 8 months.
That's what I'm saying. But I would shoot more for a SummerSlam type situation. And by that point, you've already raised Priest. You've already raised all these other guys. So then you drop Seth into it and make the entire division so white hot and competitive that now you have storytelling for the next year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, I want him back 100%. I don't want him back 80.
Or you're back. I don't want him back 80, 85. Like, no. I want him to go get healthy, watch his little girl grow up a little bit, have him have that time, have him train at the school if he needs to, have him back. If you want to keep him around, have him backstage producing. Have him work with the NXT guys since he already has that relationship with them. But keep him out of the ring.
Just let him be a mouthpiece.
I say keep him off TV, period.
No, off TV. Because then if you have him as a mouthpiece, you might want him to take a bump.
He would have to be there, yeah.
Sure. Mm-hmm. You got to let him be completely off. Let his body get healthy. Let him get healthy. So, hell, you might have Cody as champion. He can go for that title. You might have Priest as champion. He can go for that title. You might have Miz as champion. At that point, you drop him in at a point that he could do just about anything he wanted, and we are going to go ape shit for it.
Yeah.
But let him go and get healthy. That is literally my plea for them to do tonight. Let that man go out on his sword and let him get healthy.
You hear that, Vince?
That little girl deserves to have her dad fully functional. Becky deserves to have her husband fully functional. Like,
and we deserve to have Seth Rollins at 100%.
For at 100% for another 10 years.
Yes, absolutely. He's the Shawn Michaels. He's our Shawn Michaels for this generation right now, the current generation.
Absolutely.
I dare, and I've said this to other people, and I said, I dare y'all to argue with me. And they're like,
You
No,
can't.
I think it's safe to say that.
You can't.
It's safe to say that he definitely is.
Like we missed WWE missed the Shawn Michaels, the second coming of Shawn Michaels when they didn't hire AJ Styles as a young guy. The rest of the world got that Shawn Michaels. We didn't get that.
Yeah, man. When I saw him in
Now
those
we
clips,
have it. Yeah, now we have it. And
Seeing
y'all
him
want to run him.
recently, I'm like, damn, AJ getting old, bro.
Yeah, and it's like
Crazy.
AJ's not gonna be around forever either. So
He
like,
ain't no spring chicken.
you're gonna lose a lot of guys in the next couple of years, and that's when you're gonna need Seth Rollins. You don't need him right. You don't need him right now. Let that man go and get healthy so he can wrestle.
They've been blessed with Finn Balor in that he's the machine that he is.
I mean,
for some reason he's like the Terminator.
Yeah, I mean they have to understand they lost Moxley. If they had kept Moxley, it would have been a lot. It would have been better on that roster.
They screwed that pooch, and he's never coming back.
Oh yeah, no, he's not coming back.
They fucked that up with Moxley. They fucked it up with Adam Cole. They fucked it up. They fucked up a lot of things.
Oh yeah,
with some of those rosters, but it's
and
just
that's
that was another faction that held us down for the last few years. Fucking Undisputed Era.
We're never gonna get Undisputed Era at their.
You will never see another group like that on NXT ever again. Ever again.
No.
Ever.
That was our NWO DX.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
That was this generation's DX, pretty much.
Yes.
So it's like, and to me, it's just like that's why I'm pleading so hard to like preserve Seth, because let's keep it a buck. After Roman drops that title, he don't got long, because that man's always gonna have to deal with cancer possibly coming back. So his body's not going to be able to
the
go.
Remission.
Yeah, his body's. He has to protect his body, and he has to be there for his family.
He said he wants to go into Hollywood too.
Yeah,
I mean, you see him now. Like you even see with Roman. If you look at Roman before he left, and gave that announcement to us, and now he's aged so differently.
Yeah,
and so it's just like, oh my God, wow, Roman, you really are aging. Like. Yeah, you got to take it easy too, brother.
So, like the only guy that we can still hang on to, that is legitimately like a guy that can still carry the torch, so someone can take it, is Seth. And if you don't protect him now, you're not gonna have him later.
Yep.
That's my biggest thing. That's why I say he needs to. I say win against Shinsuke. All for it. But that cash in needs to happen.
Like, and I, it's one of those things where I look at our, like, when I meet and greet wrestlers and stuff like that, I'm always happy to meet them. But I just like, the reason why we go to these things to meet them is because you never know how much more time we have of them or to see them. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And
this past month proves that.
And all this may be a little transparent for wrestlers. Anybody out there listening to this, but y'all gotta fucking take care of yourselves, man.
Please,
you have to take care of yourselves, man. Like, gotta take it easy. Can't do everything. Like I understand you want to, and I understand we push y'all to, but damn, man, you gotta take it easy. Like when he said 2 fractured spine, like I was just like what are they telling me right now? Like, is this the real thing, or is this a work, or you? Oh, you're really injured type shit? Like, and it's Seth. It's fucking Seth. It's Seth Rollins, man.
Yeah. Oh.
Take care of yourself, man.
Yeah. They gotta take care of themselves. It's tough. It's tough to see it because the thing is, like I said, like I see Hogan now, and I'm just like, I remember watching Hogan, who was so energetic and everything. And when I walk next to him, I'm like, damn, I have to slow down to like a snail's pace so I'm not walking past him. And that brother has trouble, like, just even setting up. So then when I was watching him at Mania, when it was Sting versus Hunter, like, I don't get, he must be, like, holding that pain in because you see him walk into the gorilla position walk, he's, like, limping. And then when you see him come out, he's, like, it's completely different. Like,
all of them were going through something medically that day.
Yeah, because Nash had
Kevin
to
Nash
with his
said
knee.
He said something with his knee or his quad. He didn't have his knee brace.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And the first thing he did was fucking kick X-Pac or somebody or Road Dogg or somebody.
Yeah, and then it hurt because somebody did something. They kicked him and they hit him in the bad leg. And you could see him grabbing his knee. And they was like, oh, damn.
He tore his quad.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you gotta take care of each other, man.
And then all right, it's tonight. Everybody, watch it and let's
8
do the
o'clock.
reactions.
Yeah,
Thank you for
man.
joining us. Any closing comments? Any closing comments?
I am mad that Gunther and Gable is not on tonight. It should be on.
I get
tonight.
it though, because we don't want to
But
over.
I understand.
I
understand why. I understand, and I do have a prediction for that too. But shout outs, and let's see what happens tonight, guys.
Jay, anything?
Take care of yourself. Love the people around you. Hug those people around you because you never know how long they're going to be here. Rest in peace to Wyndham Rotunda. We miss him. We love him. He touched all of us in such a unique way. And it really just sucks with how much we've lost this year already in terms of the wrestling community. But the beauty of it is that, like, his creativity is going to champion the next person.
Absolutely.
And it is. But that's why, again, I'm so adamant about please protect Seth from himself. Please.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm going to say is get the popcorn ready. Let's see the swerves happen tonight.
I fucking hope so, bro. Lovely.
Thank you for joining us. Until next time.